Twitch chat. I see the YouTube chat. I'm waiting 1 second now, making sure that we're up. We're live over on the Sportscaster. There we go. Sportscaster, I got your chat up on my phone right here. I see everything that you're saying. What's up, gang? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Wild Card Weekend. I will wait for a couple of moments here, going live from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. East Coast time today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to wait to make sure that the chat works. Last time the chat did not work from this software that I'm using. If it does not work back-to-back times, well, we're going to exit. We're never going to use it again. So for right now, I'm pulling it up on my cellular device, the YouTube chat, to make sure that everything's going as should be. What's up, everybody? I'm excited for this. Currently not seeing the chat on screen, so that's never good. But I see it in YouTube, so I think that's where we're going to be living. I'm going to post out a link right now to Twitter and just quickly make way that we are live. Alrighty. Okay, cool. Everything's working. Chat's working. Perfect. What's up, everybody? What's going on, Mike? What's going on? Sal, how those ears doing? Man? My guy, what's up? Everybody got the notification. Everybody's in here. If somebody would do me the favor, what's going on, Akil? How you doing, man? If somebody can do me the favor to somehow post and just copy the link and post it. If you could post a link to Twitter, tag me in it just of this stream, that'd be great. Or just DM me the link if you don't want to actually post it. I just want to get the link to this out there in the Twitterverse. I guess I can also just go through my own portal. So I'll do that quickly, then we'll start answering questions. Time to rake in the Saturday slate. Yeah, I'm not playing the Saturday slate, but obviously the 4-game slate, I'll be playing that for sure. Let me just grab this link here for everybody. Bam, bam, bam. And perfect. Live now. Perfect. There we go. All right, gang. So, yeah, the 4-game slate, it's an interesting slate. I think there's ways to get different. I'm going to be looking at the ownership right after this once again. Happy New Year. Titans defense playable? I think they're playable. There's a bunch of just shitty defenses on the slate. I think they're playable. They have a good run defense. They're good at tackling. They're terrible at generating pressure. And they're terrible in the secondary, but they do have Adoree Jackson back. Brady has not been good. I think they're playable. They're definitely not somebody you cross out of a player pool. Thanks for the info. No problem, Kevin. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. I just posted it so you don't have to, but I'll retweet it if you tag anyways. All right. Good morning, Sal. Happy New Year's, man. Been killing it watching your channel lately with the NBA picks. Who's your favorite tight end on today's Saturday slate on DK? Yeah, so I'm not playing the Saturday slate, so I guess if you're just asking me the favorite tight end out of these two teams that are going to be playing today, it's going to have to be, for me, man, the Saturday slate sucks for tight ends. It would probably be Jonnu Smith. But thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, NBA has been fantastic. I don't know what kind of heater I'm on the last 4 or 5 days. I got to keep composure, right? Not overspend. But I've never had a better heater in my DFS career than I've had in the NBA the last 4 or 5 days. It's been something else. 4-5 different first place finishes, a lot of single entry 3 maxes, but it's been fantastic. I'm loving it. I never stay up till the sweat till 1 a.m. on these 10 o'clock games. So I wake up at 5 in the morning and check it, and I'm like, how? Why is this happening? But we'll take it. What is your favorite pay-up option on the slate? Henry, Kamara, or Michael Thomas? Michael Thomas. Henry, I'll have probably 0%. Derrick Henry. Now, here's the thing. I discussed this earlier, but I'm not trying to win the Millie Maker. I could care less. You're going to lose your money if you're putting 25 content entries into the Millie Maker today. I'm playing 3 entry and single match. 3 entry and single entry and 3 max. Yikes. So I've got 3 or 4 lineups that I'm going to be playing across all my entries today. I might play 20 max, but I doubt it. Right now, as it stands, with only building 4 to 5 lineups, 3 to 5 lineups, I will not have a single lineup with Derrick Henry. If I played 150, yes, I would have Derrick Henry. If I played 20, I might have Derrick Henry. But if you're playing Derrick Henry, you were saying you don't want to play Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Tyler Lockett, Michael Thomas in that lineup. And for me personally, Derrick Henry grades out as right around the same fantasy points today as a James White for me personally. A little bit more than James White. For double the price point, yeah, no thank you. Duke Williams in tournaments, I would have 0% Duke Williams today. Thanks, Al. Appreciate all your hard work. Appreciate it. Do you think J.J. Watt will be a factor? Just got word they're going to unleash him. Yeah, I think he'll be a factor. He's fantastic. He's just a monster from recovering from these injuries. One time he had to recover by walking 10 miles a day. It was the only activity he could do, and he walked 10 miles a day for a month straight in the morning. Insane. So I think he'll be a factor. He's obviously better what they have there, but I don't think it's too much of a factor to really weigh it into too much of projections. Currently don't have Kamara in cash. Should I be worried? I mean, you probably have Dalvin Cook or something, right? So no. Do you think it's too risky to have Perkins in cash tight end with Ertz still being impossible? No, I don't think so. So it depends on your risk, right? I think Ertz has like a 20% chance to play. He still hasn't been cleared. He literally has a broken rib puncturing his spleen. Like it's severing his spleen right now. So if he plays, I think he's just a tight end weapon. And then, yeah, you have no other players to go to. If maybe we get the news tonight, I'm hoping Adam Schefter hits us with the Zach Ertz will play or won't play, because then you could at least pivot to like an Irv Smith Jr. from the Vikings. Hey, Sal, been a while. Hope all is well. You as well. Who's your daddy? How you doing, man? How you doing? Congrats on the takedown, Sal. Appreciate that. Sal, thank you. Sal for president. What's up, man? What's going on, Cody? Do you think Sanu will benefit from Edelman being hurt? No, he hasn't for the last... Edelman's been hurt for 2 months now. Been severely hurt for a month now. Sanu's done nothing during that time. Sanu is also hurt. Kind of under the radar. The other night I fell asleep and woke up 17th place in a single entry. NBA is my favorite DFS sport, but love football. Yeah, NBA is probably the toughest sport. Maybe not toughest. The best players, like the casual fans, are the best in NBA, just because you have to keep up with it if you want to play. But yeah, NBA is my favorite DFS sport, right up there with PGA. Football is just, I don't know. I like football in real life, but football DFS it's just extremely variant. What's good, Sal? Highest ceiling QB thoughts? Highest ceiling QB, it's probably Deshaun Watson, just due to the rushing upside. Deshaun Watson or Wilson, probably highest ceiling. How do you feel about A.J. Brown? I currently have 0% in my 3 max and single entry. He is going to be just, in my opinion, love the guy. I've been playing him at this high price point the last couple of weeks. He is going to be in the worst possible position out of anybody on the entire weekend, maybe anybody in the entire playoffs this week. He'll either be bracketed by J.C. Jackson and a safety, or he'll be one-on-one matchup with Stephon Gilmore, and none of those are great, especially at the high price point. One lineup cash game pay-up option, or should I just make a balanced lineup? I mean, you can't just be balanced. Like, you have to have a Thomas, a Kamara, a Cook, a Lockett. You have to have one of those guys in your cash game. Favorite cheap/sleeper pick of the slate? Maybe Kenny Stills. He's cheap. He's probably going to go lower owned than he should, just because Will Fuller still has the doubtful or questionable tag by him. Probably Kenny Stills. I don't know. He's 4,600. That's probably cheap enough. Thoughts on Duke Johnson? I think he's okay. He's really cheap. He's picking up ownership, but he's really cheap, and he's around Sony Michel. I would probably prefer in tournaments Duke Johnson to Michel, but neither of them are really popping off the page for me. Who would be a good low-key wide receiver for today? Congrats on your takedown. Appreciate it. Probably just Kenny Stills. Low-key Kenny Stills. Kiki Kute would be nice, but he's going to probably split the slot snaps with DeAndre Carter. I think Kute sees more. Tajay Sharp will be in the slot today with no Khalif Raymond or Adam Humphries against New England, although they don't usually use a lot of 3 wide receiver sets anymore, Tennessee. So I think Kenny Stills will play 95% of the snaps on the outside for a cheap price point. What's going on, Vincent? How's Chicago, my man? How's Chicago? How many people are watching this? Thoughts on Atkins, Sal? He's cheap. I prefer just taking a gamble on Perkins. I prefer just playing Jonnu Smith. But Atkins is cheap. He's in play. Lynch, Burkhead, or Murray? Give me Lynch, but all those sound gross. Jonnu Smith, tight end thoughts. He's okay. Like, I think Jonnu Smith runs around 20 routes. I think he sees about 5 or 6 targets. They need to use him today because their wide receivers on the outside will not stand a chance against New England. So I think Jonnu Smith benefits the most. That being said, though, like, it's still touchdown dependent. I think I'd rather have both of the Eagles tight ends than Jonnu Smith today, yeah. Do you prefer Beasley or Brown? And your thoughts on Homer? Or Homner. Yeah, so he's okay. He's going to see a lot of... so he's not going to get any goal line touchdowns, which is an issue. Goal line work. And he's really going to be using the receiving game. So I think I like Homner a little bit more than Lynch now. But neither are priorities. Beasley or Brown, I like both of them. I prefer Brown. Hit that like button, somebody says. Yes, definitely. Jonnu Smith or Corey Davis? I have 0 interest in Corey Davis. No interest at all. So I would go Jonnu Smith if you're picking one of them. Thank you. Would you rather pair John Brown or Cole Beasley with Josh Allen? John Brown. How do you feel about Traquan Smith? I think Traquan Smith sees 2 to 3 targets today. I think he catches one ball for like 10 yards. Will it be a touchdown? I don't know, so I really don't have interest. I'm liking Corey Davis a low-owned sneaky play. Thoughts? He's not low-owned. Corey Davis is like one of the 3 or 5 highest-owned receivers, and I think he's in one of the worst spots he could possibly be in. He'll either be shadowed by Stephon Gilmore, or he will see J.C. Jackson, who's the number 1 pass rating against in the league. And you might say, oh, no, they're not going to shadow Stephon Gilmore on Corey Davis. They're going to put him on A.J. Brown. No, good coaches will bracket a good receiver like A.J. Brown when they have good personnel. J.C. Jackson can easily bracket A.J. Brown with a safety, and then you have one-on-one coverage with Stephon Gilmore and Corey Davis. A guy in Corey Davis who has gone over 10 or over 9 fantasy points twice this year, hasn't gone over since week 7, has not done anything with Ryan Tannehill. I think Corey Davis is a terrible play, personally. Fuller just got ruled out. That was expected. Kenny Stills is a nice replacement. Adam Thielen on DK or DK. is Thielen 100%? I think Thielen's close to 100%, as close as you can be. He played 90% of the snaps 2 weeks ago against the Packers. I prefer DK Metcalf there, but I think both are really good. I honestly can see the Titans upsetting the Patriots in a low-scoring, tough game. I don't see it happening. The way that the Titans move the ball is through the run, through play action. The Patriots can take away both of their receivers and then put an extra man in the box against Derrick Henry. There's just no shot they move the ball. The only way the Titans win is if they have a defensive score, a special team score, and Brady is just terrible out there. Now, the Patriots' offensive weapons are bad, but I think the Titans are just going to be so locked up today. Thoughts on N'Keal Harry? I think he runs 20 routes. Look, the Edelman situation, people think it just happened. Edelman's been dealing with this injury all season. It's been really severe the last month. N'Keal Harry's done nothing during that time. He'll probably run about 20 routes, see 3 targets. I have no real interest. Eat the Corey Davis chalk in cash? No, I would not. I would never play Corey Davis in cash, no. With Fuller out, Kute or Stills viable? Stills more so. He'll directly replace. Kute is going to be splitting the slot snaps with DeAndre Carter. Thoughts on James White? I love James White. Kamara or Michael Thomas? Michael Thomas if you're picking one. Anyone know if Ertz is playing? He's probably about 25% chance to play. He still has not been cleared for contact. He still has a rib puncturing his spleen right now. So I would say he doesn't, but who knows? Does Fuller out help Hopkins a lot or a little? It helps Hopkins a lot. He'll be force-fed a little bit more, but he's still facing Tre'Davious White. Hopkins has struggled this season in good shadow matchups, and White has thrived, so I think it helps Stills the most. Is Fuller officially out? I don't know. I'm just taking people's words for it, but he was doubtful anyways. Sal, 4-game slate. Is it stupid to play Kamara and Thomas in the same lineup in a single entry contest? No, it's not at all. I would say that that's pretty viable. Anybody know how many people are watching this? Let me know. Favorite 6K receiver? Favorite 6K receiver would be John Brown, then Metcalf. With Zach Line out, that give more upside to Kamara than Murray? I don't think it matters too much. Like, Kamara's going to make his due in the 8 targets in the passing game, so I don't think it matters too much. I saw the videos of practice. Lane Johnson and Ertz looked bad. Yeah, I agree. What's up, Dave? How you doing? Yes, Fuller is out. Yep, 208. Cool. Is Michelle too cheap? If he was like $200-$300 more, I think he'd be too expensive. So, no, I think he's about right. What's up, Jared? How you doing, man? David Moore, a decent play. I would say in the 2-game slate and showdown, he's a decent play, but not on the main slate. First of all, Malik Turner's out. You have to watch Jerron Brown's status. They said he would have practiced Friday if they would have had practice, but they're traveling. So keep an eye on Jerron Brown's status. If he's out, yeah, David Moore will run around 30 routes, and that's decent for the price point. So I like David Moore a lot more in the 2-game slate and the showdown slate, but only if Jerron Brown's out. Perkins, Jonnu, or Hollister? I will go with, in this order, Perkins, Hollister, Jonnu. But they're all in play for me. They're all like top 5 tight ends. Now that I think about it, Josh Allen might have a highest ceiling with his rushing/TD upside. Thoughts? Yeah, I think he has rushing upside. I think Deshaun Watson has a little bit more rushing upside. Josh Allen averages around like 10 to 12 more rushing yards per game than Deshaun Watson. But if you're telling me who's the higher ceiling, if you tell me that Josh Allen just has a 40 rushing yard game and Watson, who is just a lot better at home, is going to have somewhere around 30. I think that I take Hopkins. I keep saying Hopkins. I take Watson's just passing skill set and even his weapons, even with Fuller out. So I think they're both close between Josh Allen, Breeze, and Watson as the highest ceilings. I would go Watson, Breeze, and then Allen. Hyde and Hopkins or Henry and Stills? Hyde and Hopkins. I don't have any Henry. I also don't like Hyde though. So you can somehow get to like James White. I would do that. Who do you pick in the Pats backfield? James White. Allen or Watson? That's a really good question. I have both of them in three entry right now. I'll slightly prefer Watson. If you look at these team totals, they're all so close. Like, it's so hard to try and differentiate, but the one that you can do is you can see that the implied live team total here, right now, you can see that the Texans have right now a 4-point higher implied team total, or 3.5 than what you're getting out of the Bills. So I'll take the Texans at home and Watson a little bit more than Allen. I think the spot that's really interesting is choosing between Wentz and Watson. I think this is the toughest choice on the entire slate, in my opinion, between Wentz and Watson. Similar team totals, both small home favorites, both have good matchups in the secondary, both have the 2 best pass blocking advantages of the weekend. Yes, you do have more rushing upside with Watson, but you're also probably going to get 5 to 10 more pass attempts out of Wentz. Yes, Watson has DeAndre Hopkins, and Wentz has nobody in the passing game, but it hasn't affected Wentz's last 5 games, 23 fantasy points per game over the last 5 with no weapons. I do think the choice there is Watson, but I think it's closer than people think. Thoughts on fading DeAndre today? Yeah, I think it's possible. It's just if you're playing Michael Thomas, you're probably not playing DeAndre Hopkins. Jonathan James donates $5. He says, hey, Sal, playing against friends today. What do you think of this lineup? Breeze, Kamara, White, Metcalf, Stills, Thomas, Jonnu Smith, and Hollister, Vikings. I don't like the double tight end. Like, if you're playing against friends, you don't have to get that sneaky. Your friends probably suck at this, right? You're watching videos on this. So I like the entire lineup up until, like, the double tight end. I would try and fit something else in there. I would go Hollister over Jonnu Smith at your tight end, though. I don't think you have to pay all the way up for your defense either. Well, actually, defense is the cheapest, right? The Vikings. Thank you for the donation. I say that I like that lineup. I just wouldn't go double tight end. So you might have to come down in some spots, maybe at quarterback. I think coming down at Breeze at quarterback and saving $600 to get up to another tier at wide receiver or running back is probably the best move there. Like, I think you can get maybe, I don't know, Singletary. Do you think the New England game is low scoring? Yes, I think both teams focus and prioritize the run today. Why so much James White love? Last year in the playoffs, Sony was the workhorse. Yeah, he's going to be the workhorse. He's going to be on the ground. Tennessee ranks top 3 in tackling and top 2 against the run this year. Look, they've said it all season long, dating back to last year. They don't give James White the ball to preserve him because they want him to be healthy all season, including in the playoffs. This is a guy who are they going to pass the ball to today? Just let me know. It won't be the tight ends. It damn well it's not going to be very high volume of a banged up Mohamed Sanu who can't play on the outside as a receiver since being traded. Rookie N'Keal Harry, I don't see him having a big day against Adore Jackson. 50 to 60% health, Julian Edelman. They'll probably force him the ball, but who else is going to be used in the passing game? Brady's going to throw. He averages 40 times per game against a 25th ranked pass rush and a 20th ranked secondary. Brady's going to throw 35, 40 times. I think James White sees somewhere around 8 to 10 targets in this one. When you're asking me for upside in a tournament, 17 carries for 80 yards out of Sony Michel, it's not doing it for me. 4 carries for 20 yards and 7 receptions for 70 yards, if that's the type of game that you get out of James White here, that's doing something for you. So he leads the entire league, James White, in fantasy points per touch this year and last year. It's nuts how effective he is. And now when you have no pass catchers in the playoffs, it's probably the time that you roll him out there more. So I understand if people have love for Sony Michel. Look, I like the guy, 58 carries the last 3 weeks, but it's just a spot where you're talking upside for tournaments, even in cash. It's a huge, huge difference between James White and Sony Michel. Wentz plus Ward or Brady plus Beasley? I'll go Wentz and Ward. How do you feel about Duke Johnson? I haven't heard anyone talk about him. I think he sees somewhere around 10 touches. They're home favorites. It's usually not the recipe for him having a big day. With Fuller out, I really don't think that impacts Johnson a lot anyways. It's not like he was running short intermediate routes, Fuller. He was usually running down the field. It'll just directly replace with Stills. I don't think that changes the upside in the receiving game for Johnson all that much. How many touches will Boston Scott steal? I think Boston Scott sees similar to less usage than he usually does with Jordan Howard back. They said Jordan Howard was only used as an emergency last week. That's why he only played 1 snap. They said this week he's going to be more involved. So I see Jordan Howard seeing 3 to 5 touches at least, directly pulling those from Boston Scott. I think that you see somewhere around 18 to 20 total touches for Sanders, somewhere around 6 to 8 touches for Scott, somewhere around 3, 4, 5 targets for Jordan Howard. So at that price point for Boston Scott, yeah, no chance. Duke Williams for all the cash. Duke Williams is a terrible option. So for the people saying Duke Williams, he played last week just because they didn't start their top 2 wide receivers to rest them. Duke Williams might not step on the football field today. If I had a bet on it, I don't think Duke Williams steps on the football field. I can't believe people are going to say, like 20% own Duke Williams I heard earlier. I can't believe that. I'm baffled. He's going to play 0% snaps probably today, if I had a bet. He's the number 5 wide receiver on that team. It's crazy. Jonathan James donates another $5. What's up? He says, thanks, Sal. I followed your advice all season long. Never got anything less than 3rd thanks to you. First year, this fantasy league gig. Wow, awesome. That's awesome. Nice work, man. Yeah, keep it up. Keep it up, man. Crush your friends today. Crush your friends. Sal, my man, what's up? How you doing, Luke? How you doing? When Sal said your friends probably suck at this. Look, he's finished in top 3 every time. He's either really good, which I bet he is if he's putting this much work in, and then there's probably parts of it that his friends are just playing donkeys out there. Any suggestions for the defenses? Just build the rest of your lineup and see what fits. Like, I don't want to play the Vikings at 8-point road underdogs, right? I don't want to do that at all, so probably stay away from them. But build your lineup, whatever you like it, and then just go from there. I wouldn't prioritize the defense today. None of them are in really that great of spots. Like, I think the best defense is the Saints versus the Vikings if you're on paper, but you don't have to prioritize paying for them. Do you like Brown or Beasley more? I like both, but I'll go Brown. I'm fading Thomas today and getting more high-end receivers. I think that's a fine option. Yeah, you can go ahead and fade him. He's highly owned. I'm not going to fade him, but I think it's definitely in play. NBA video today, I'm interested now. No NBA video today. I can't do it. I have so much NFL content. I'm doing live streams for Awesemo. This live stream had a Patreon live stream before this. It's a 9-game slate. If it was a 4-game slate, yeah, there'd be a video. There's going to be projections on Patreon today for NBA though. NBA's been a ton of fun the last week, man. I started off the season good, then had about like a 3-week drought. And this past week has been the most I've ever won in DFS by a wide margin. I'm messing with you, Sal, but I have heard his have recency bias. Yeah, Sean, I don't get the Duke Williams. If Duke Williams is 1% owned today, somebody just burned 1% of their money, or 1% of the field burned their money. Jacoby Myers sneaky play? I don't think so. He's running the same routes as Dorsett in terms of like he's on the field for like 6 snaps. I don't think Myers will be on the field. I like the Titans defense today. Titans will come hungry. Yeah, their pass rush sucks. Their secondary sucks. They can stop the run. So if you're going to force Brady to throw today, that's what you're betting on with the Titans defense. Greg Ward or Beasley? I prefer Beasley if you can afford it. Tight end page, please. Yes. Yeah, so thank you for the people who donated. I saw Braxton with a $10 super chat. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Braxton. Appreciate all the love and support. If you want to super chat at all, you can. It just donates, helps the stream, which directly helps me, independent content creator. So you can check that out if you want. Hit the subscribe button, too. If you're new here, first time seeing me, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, we're doing this now Saturday at around 10:50 a.m. If you're watching the replay, hit the subscribe button. I really want to get to 20,000 subscribers before the Super Bowl. By the end of this weekend, we might only be like 2,000 away, which is pretty good for a whole month of having to try and work on that goal. So thank you. I appreciate it. What team do you support, says Fabian. I'm a Packers fan. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. What was your takedown? It was a bunch of different takedowns. I don't play really the big contests, but it was a couple of 5K, a 10K, 16K. It was a bunch of different takedowns over the last week in NBA. Over the last 5 days, I've had 4 first-place finishes. It's nuts. I play a lot of 3-max single entry, like the 555, the 333, the 180 buy-ins. So it's only like they're only like 100-person fields, right? 60, 23-person field. The one had a ton of overlay. But yeah, it's been nuts. I think the last 5 days in NBA, I've had, I think like 10 top 10 finishes, 6 top 5, and 4 binks. Alex Baker loves Q-Tate today, Sal. What do you say? I don't know who's going to play the slot. Now, DeAndre Carter played a lot more snaps last week, so they've rested their starters. That kind of shows you they don't care too much about his health. But if Kiki's going to run, they don't run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets anyways. They run a lot of 2 tight end sets. So if Kiki's going to be on the field for splitting with DeAndre Carter, 15 routes, 20 routes, yeah, he can be targeted 6 times on those, but it's just not a lot of upside in my opinion. Now, he's going to probably go low owned. He's cheap, so I don't love Kiki today, probably not as much as Alex, but he's definitely in play. I'm just concerned of, look, he's $3,300. Carter's a similar price. They can both go out there and get 3 or 4 targets each, and it doesn't really matter. And I think that happens more times than not. Thoughts on a Buffalo stack on Saturday? I think that's fine. I think it's viable. Is Michelle to play the cash pay down? I don't think so. I think NBA is the hardest in DFS. I think it is the best competition. I don't think it's the hardest because it's the least variant. But I think it's the best competition, so maybe that makes it the hardest. Like NFL, the player pools, the player sizes of these tournaments is just so huge, and there's so much variance that I think that ends up being the hardest. With Fuller out, Duke Johnson is a better play than Stills, or is Carter a sneaky play? I like Stills the most. I don't think Duke Johnson changes that much with Fuller out. Fuller's not running short routes. He's running deep routes. It doesn't really impact Duke Johnson, whose main objective is just to get on the field ahead of Hyde as a home favorite. I don't think that happens too much. Sony Michel and James White double stack good in cash game. On the 2-game slate, yeah. I don't think I'd go there on the 4-game slate. Skittles even worth taking a look at. Yeah, he has 2 touchdown upside, so I do think that Marshawn Lynch is at least worth taking a look at. I agree, NBA is the hardest. Yeah, I'll say that if you're playing in like 100-person fields, 300-person fields, NBA is not the hardest compared to those same fields for other sports because of how variant it is. Or because of how variant the other sports are, like MLB and like NFL. No interest in Fells with Atkins questionable. I think Atkins is going to play, but no interest in Fells. Wish I had Simons and Harden, would have smashed. Yeah, I didn't have either of them last night and still did a really good job. I built a balanced approach, and I think out of the 8 players in my lineup, 7 went for 45 to 60. The only one who didn't was Gordon Hayward with a flat 30. It was brutal. Kept me from being number 1. NBA is the easiest to me. NFL is the hardest. Yeah, NBA is, look, there's like 3 sports we're choosing from here. Like WNBA is the easiest in my opinion, or some of those softer sports, but I don't think NBA is the easiest. No, it's got the toughest competition. I'd say WNBA is probably the easiest. Can you say who the highest owned QB is today? I haven't checked ownership in like a day, so that's something that I'm going to do right after this. So I honestly can't right now. I would imagine it's like Breeze probably. MLB is hard. Yeah, MLB is hard. NBA is super easy for me, somebody says. Yikes. I had Harden, McRae, Smart combined for 180. Yeah, I had McRae and Smart last night in my main lineups. McRae is just incredible. He's like a 1.25 guy without Beal out there, and he's cheaper today than he was yesterday. I had Harden and Simmons in min cash. NFL is easiest for me. Fair enough. No interest in Knox as Texans are suspect against short yardage passing tight ends. Yeah, they just don't use him. Like, Knox had a stiff arm like midway through the season, and in that game he had like 23 yards or 30 yards, and everybody went crazy because the guy stiff armed somebody. Knox has done nothing this year. He'll catch 2 balls for 20 yards, even if he scores a touchdown, probably not needed. Had a 391 last night and didn't have it in a big contest. Yeah, that's rough. So here's the end of the day. Like, if you're playing in any, especially NBA, but in any type of format, start getting into single entries and 3 maxes. Like, you can score 350 points and do nothing in the big contest that night and literally win $10,000 in like a $50 or $100 buy-in. So instead of putting like $50 into the huge contest where you have to be the number one lineup out of 30,000 people, put it into a field that has 100 people where you literally can win by scoring 30 to 40 to 50 less points than the main contest. It makes it a lot easier. Maybe not easier, but easier to actually bank. So in NBA DFS, what is the best to start out playing? I'll just say single entries and 3 maxes. It's hard to really say from the ground up. Cash, I wouldn't play the big contest. You could throw your other lineups in there, but you're gonna burn all that money if you just play the big contest. What are the best cheap plays at running back and receiver? So you can see right here, these are my running back interests. I don't really care too much at getting cheap at running back. I have some interest at wide receiver that are cheap, but not a lot. These are my wide receiver interests. So whichever ones that you see are a little bit cheap. Would you stack Henry and White in the millie, Sal? No, I don't want any. I personally won't have any Henry. Kamara will be a tough fade for cash. I agree. Is a single entry cash? No, it is not. It's a tournament. Everybody just gets one lineup, though, so you're on an even, quote-unquote, even playing field. Obviously, the tools that you use in your experience change that even playing field, but an even playing field in terms of the amount of lineups you get. Any Sanders love? Yeah, I have interest in Sanders. He's like around my interest in James White for me. Burkhead is good for cash games. He's cheap, so if you're just punting in cash, I would really want to do that, but I would not use Burkhead in cash games personally. Underweight on Henry tonight. Yeah, I won't have any Derrick Henry. Now, I'm not playing 150 lineups. If I did, I would have him. In my 3 max and single entries, I'll have no Derrick Henry. In general, what is more profitable / successful in DFS? The small or large amounts of entries? I would personally say single entry and 3 max. For me, that's where my most profitable is. If you're 150 maxing, it is extremely difficult. If you're somebody in here watching it and saying, oh, Alex, Awesome Baker, other people who 150 max, they're lucky. They get to enter 150 lineups. It is much harder to 150 max a contest efficiently and properly than to play a single entry, than to put 5 lineups into it. It is much harder. Hand building is easy. Having a software that you are trying to manipulate to do exactly what you want it to do as if you were hand building, and then having to late swap an NBA is miles harder. And the swings of how much you lose compared to win at times is much more difficult. So, look, I really don't have interest in 150 maxing. I love 3 max single entry. I'll probably get into 150 more and more. I've been doing it a little bit here and there. But if you actually think that 150 maxing is easy and an automatic win, man, it is more difficult, in my opinion, in terms of making sure you're having proper lineups in there. Now, yes, having 150 lineups in a contest means you have a better chance of winning, but not by a large margin. It's not like you're 50% chance of winning, 10%. You're still below 1% by a wide amount. Double tight end, more of a play on a short slate? Yeah, definitely. I just don't think there's that great of tight ends to choose from on this slate. But yeah, any Perkins love? Yeah, Joshua Perkins, with the assumption that Zach Ertz is probably doubtful, is my favorite tight end. Is Edelman going to be chalk at that price? Yeah, he's a very highly owned player right now, projection wise, and I have not much interest in Edelman. Thoughts on Singletary? I think he's a very good running back play on this slate. Is Ertz going to play? I'd say I give Ertz about a 20 to 25% chance of playing, so I'd call him doubtful. Henry over 100 rushing yards. Yeah, Henry can go for 120 rushing yards. I still don't. He's the most expensive player in the slate. He has to do his thing where he goes for 150 and a touchdown or 2. I don't think he does that. What's your take on the Seahawks wide receivers? I think both of them look really good. I think David Moore is going to be interesting as a cheap option, probably for the smaller slates, 2 game in the showdown slate. David Moore becomes a little bit interesting if indeed Jerome Brown misses. Carlos Hyde really in play for GPP? I think he's in play. Yeah, he's going to see 16 to 18 carries as a home favorite. Do I think he's fantastic? No, but he's in play. He's cheap. I 150 maxed a nickel contest and had to make adjustments. It's a headache. Yeah, it is. It's literally a full-time job for people. Wentz, Brady, or Allen? Give me, in a GPP, give me Wentz. Is Fuller going to play? No, he is not. White or over Hamner on DK? Yeah, I agree. Derrick Henry or DeAndre Hopkins? I'll take Hopkins. So is using an optimizer a tool you really need in any DFS sports? If you're playing 150 lineups, you should probably be using an optimizer. If you're playing 20, that's the edge of it, where anything more than that, right around that, you should probably be using an optimizer, yeah. The idea of an optimizer is not to automatically give you the best lineups. No. It's literally to make your life easier. You cannot manually make 150 lineups, know what's going on in all of them, know how much exposure you have to everybody properly, not duplicate lineups without an optimizer. And if you can do that, you can probably do it once and then pull all your hair out because it's crazy. I've been watching your content the past few months and it's been great. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you, Big Squee. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Sal, what game is your favorite to stack up for GPPs? I'm not getting to many 3 or 4 man stacks. Doesn't mean you shouldn't. I'm getting to a lot of just quarterback plus wide receiver stacks and one player from the other side. So I guess 3-man stacks for the game, but I'm not getting to many 4 or 5-man game stacks. A lot of 3-man stacks. I like the first game. All the games are really nice, honestly. I have equal exposures, but I like in terms of stacking, I like the Texans side of their game, and I like the Eagles. I like those stacks. It's really where I like my quarterbacks, right? Like, look at my quarterback interest. These are where I'm going to go for my stacks. I'll blow this up if you don't really want to read everything. Quarterback stacks for me, these are the 4 guys that I would be prioritizing in stacks. Allen, Wentz, Breeze, and Watson. Probably Breeze the least just because his stack is so expensive. So like Watson, Wentz, and Allen are my 3 favorite stacks. I suck at NFL. Going to try it for today's game, says Jalen. What's up, Jalen? Best of luck, man. What games will weather affect the most? I don't think weather really affects the games. So for me, personally, on this stream, I will say it's not going to affect any of these games. You can see right now the team totals. Look at this. Ready? The difference in team totals right now has not even moved, right? The team total in Philly and Minnesota has moved by like 0.5 each. That's nothing major. But there's been no differences in this column right here, the differential column. There's been no differences in these team totals. If anything, they've all risen by 2 points. So weather's not going to impact anything as of right now. And if you're somebody who's going to say, but it's supposed to rain, they're saying there's what? The Vegas odds, the guys who do this and make 7 to 8 figures a month doing this are telling me right now it's not going to matter. So I'm going to trust them. Homer or Lynch, or Hamner or Lynch? I'll take Hamner, barely. White and Burkhead together in a GPP? I don't hate it, but I think they're way too similar for them both to be good. Any interest in Corey Davis? Corey Davis is chalky today, and he should not be chalky. I have no interest in Corey Davis. Fantasy Cruncher or Draft Dashboard? I like both, but torn which to go to. I personally use Fantasy Cruncher. I don't use it a ton because I don't really max enter. I just hand build three entry and single entry and 3 max, but I will use Fantasy Cruncher. I personally like that software. Why is Cousins not a good play being an 8-point underdog on the road? I don't think he's a terrible play. He's just an 8-point underdog on the road with the lowest implied team total against a top 5 pass rush in a spot where he has a banged up wide receiver. Look, he's probably going to throw 35 times today or tomorrow. That's more than he usually does throw. Cousins, you're just relating Cousins back to these other guys, right? I would play Cousins over Tannehill. I might play Cousins over Brady. But factoring in these players right here in the same price range, much more interest in them. Whether it's the team total higher, the pass attempts higher, the weapons higher, the skill set higher, the matchup better, right? The pace higher. Is Adam Humphries in? No, Adam Humphries is out, and his backup Khalif Raymond is also doubtful. Thoughts on Boston Scott? No interest. I think Jordan Howard sees a little bit more use this week, like they've been indicating. Miles Sanders is healthy. Look, Boston Scott's expensive. Like, they priced him up as if you're going to get no Miles Sanders this week, and now he's probably going to see a similar to reduced role. Darren Fells or Jonnu Smith? Give me Jonnu Smith. Your take on Titans players. Do you think the weather impacts the game? No, I think the weather has zero impact to the game. The team totals have gone up for both teams, not down. The Titans players, I think Jonnu Smith is interesting. Outside of that, maybe their defense, that's about it. James White or Sony Michel? I like James White a little bit more. Do you have any PGA sweats going? It's Saturday, so I put 150 max to the one PGA contest. I can't tell you where I'm at right now. I have some lineups up there, but it doesn't matter. You won't know your sweats until the back nine tomorrow. Thoughts on Watson and Singletary? Is that negative correlation? No, I think that's fine. It's actually scary how accurate Vegas is. 476 watching. What's going on, all 476 of you? If indeed, you can hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and that little notification bell. I really do appreciate that. It helps me out a ton. Independent content creator here. I really do appreciate that. Love the input, Sal. Great job. Thank you. Appreciate you. If you're watching on the replay right now, feel free to leave a comment as well. Who is your favorite play at 6K or below at wide receiver? Well, let's go below 6K so we don't group John Brown into that. You could also answer in the chat. Favorite wide receiver below 6K. I think mine is either Beasley or Stills. Stills is growing on me, depending on what ownership looks like. I hate that I keep putting Stills in my lineups. Yeah, Stills has burned people, but Stills has burned people one time in the same situation all year against Denver. That has a very, very, very good pass defense. Very good against wide receivers. So Kenny Stills one time this season has replaced Will Fuller on the outside, not in the slot, and has burned people, right? Just once. And against a really good defense. Now he'll get Levi Wallace, a little bit better of a matchup. Any interest in a Viking stack and running it back with Kamara or Thomas? I think that's sneaky. I don't really have interest right now, but I actually think that's sneaky. Hi, I hope that you had a good New Year's. Thoughts on James White? Thanks, Eric. You too. I like James White today. I think he sees the most targets out of... I think it's a bold call. Maybe it's a bold call. I think he sees the most targets out of anybody on the Patriots. Tight end screen, please. Yeah, you got it, Noble. Checking in, Sal. What's up, Taylor? Brian says Ward. He seems fine. Frank Gore scores 2 today, then goes off to retire. Probably. Nope, the thing that is scary is that suppose people don't think Vegas is setting up all sports and games. I don't think they are, no. Sal, why is Stills good today? Well, Will Fuller is out. Stills is going to play 90 to 100% of the snaps on the outside against Levi Wallace. He's 4,600. I would imagine he sees somewhere around 6 targets, has big play upside. Is he a lock? No. Is he a cheap wide receiver that is priced cheaper than he should be? Yes. If Will Fuller was definitely ruled out to start the week, as he is now ruled out, Stills would probably be around 5,000, 5,200. So he's too cheap. No Murray love in New Orleans. I like that he's an 8-point favorite. I still think he only sees around 10 carries. The usage last week for Murray only spiked because they didn't play Alvin Kamara in the 4th and barely used him in the 3rd. Do you think Sony Michel and James White can both work together in a GPP lineup? I think that's a better play in the 2-game slate or showdown, of course. On the 4-game slate, I think you're giving up too much at running back. Hollister and Stills or Perkins and John Brown? That's a really good question. Perkins and John Brown. It's more of a risk, but I'll go there. Corey Davis or Jonnu Smith? Jonnu Smith. Is Duke Johnson viable at all? Slightly, but not a ton. DK Cash running backs under 6K. White, Hyde, Homer, or Michelle? Give me White. Sal, who wins today? I don't know, man. I don't really follow too much of the Vegas line movement. I'm going to be doing next year more betting content because I have the information to actually make solid bets. But if anything, I would bet player props. Adam Thielen is a good play today. I think so. I think he's going undervalued. Please talk about Duke and the zone coverage of the Bills. What do you want me to talk about with Duke? Duke Williams or Duke Johnson? I think Duke Johnson, he's a home favorite, so Carlos Hyde sees more of the usage. Will Fuller out, I don't think impacts Duke Johnson all that much. He's cheap. If you get 5 reception game out of him, it'll pay off. The zone coverage of the Bills is pretty much that you have Tre'Davious White, who's going to be in a man-to-man matchup today against Hopkins. The zone coverage prevents really big plays. That does hurt Kenny Stills, but again, he's cheap. Any wide receivers under 4K besides Corey Davis? I don't even want Corey Davis. I would have 0% of Corey Davis today. But below 4K, no, not really. I think the only ones down there are Kiki Kute and David Moore. I don't know if Mike's still in here and can... Let's do this. Bang. Gone. Thanks, Sal. No problem, Matthew. No problem, man. Adam Thielen is a good play today. Yep. Sanders or White in a 23-man tourney. Thanks. I would go Miles Sanders there for a little bit more security. In a 23-man. You play it more like a cash game. Whew. Singletary and White for GPPs, or is that too much of a gamble? Singletary and White for GPPs, or is that too much of a gamble? No, I think that's fine. Edelman is in play today, or is Harry a better play? I don't think Harry's a better play. I think Edelman's a better play, but I don't like Edelman today. He's highly owned in a difficult matchup against Logan Ryan. His quarterback hasn't been great, and he's playing at probably 50%. Thielen or Diggs? Give me Thielen. Think DeAndre will get doubled? No, I think he'll be one-on-one coverage with Tre'Davious White, which is just as bad. Sal, Corey Davis is that one dude today. I will have 0% of Corey Davis. Not liking Watson with Fuller being out. No, I like Watson. I don't know why I wouldn't. They averaged 19.8 points with Fuller out and 26.6 points with Fuller in. I respect the Bills' defense as well. I like Watson. Singletary or Sanders for cash? In cash, I'll take Singletary. Would you play Singletary and Josh Allen? I think that's okay. It's a 4-game slate, so I think that's okay. If Ertz plays limited snaps, is Goddard worth his price? Yeah, I think he's still worth his price. I think at best, Ertz is going to play like 10 red zone snaps. Is Lattimore going to shadow cover? Yeah, he'll probably shadow cover Diggs. Saints or Bills defense? Whichever one you can afford. Whichever one you can afford. If you can only afford one, I'll go Saints. Or if you could afford either. I'm a lifetime Patriots fan, and yes, our history at home in the playoffs, but we don't have them same players. I agree. We have played over 500, has been able to throw the ball on us. Facts. That's fair. Sony Michel for value at running back on DK. He's in play. Is anybody talking about Drew Brees? Yeah, I think he's the highest owned quarterback right now. Who's your favorite play from the Titans today? Probably Jonnu Smith. Thoughts on Howard? He got 0 touches last week because he was used in an emergency role. He's supposed to see more touches this week. I think he sees like 6 to 8 at most. I don't have interest in Howard. Is Singletary and Brown stacking DK point per game too many Bills? No, I don't think it is. Would you play both Singletary and Josh Allen in the same lineup? I think it's okay. Hopkins or Thomas? Give me Thomas. All right, gang. Hit the subscribe button. Be sure to. Bills taking home the W today. Bills Mafia. Yeah, man. They would have been favored on a neutral field. Pretty crazy. I'm going to pull up Sportscaster chat right now real quick. See what's going on over there. What do you think about David Moore? I think if Jerron Brown is out come tomorrow, David Moore runs about 30 routes, sees about 2 to 4 targets. So on the 2-game slate and showdown slate, I like him. On the main slate, I don't think he's worth it. Is Dawson Knox in play? Not for me. Thoughts on Travis Homner? I think Travis Homner sees somewhere around 10 carries, somewhere around 4 receptions, makes him a viable play on this slate. How do you feel about Diggs? I think he gets shadowed for 70% or so of the game by Lattimore. That's brutal, but that 30% of the game, he can have a huge play. I have low ownership to him. All right, so getting over to Sportscaster. Click thumb. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. If you're watching over on Sportscaster still, please do hit the follow the broadcaster button. It's really easy to do. Appreciate that. 2019 Bills equals 2017 Eagles. Maybe. They got a lot of good personnel on both sides. It's just, do you trust that quarterback more than some of the other quarterbacks in the playoffs? That's probably a no for me. Beasley or Brown? Brown if choosing one for me. Which wide receiver would you rather have from the Vikings? I would rather have Thielen. What's the chances Bills Mafia breaks the table today? Probably like 100%. Texans Nation, somebody says. Hey. You know what I like? I'm a Packers fan. I don't really care too much. I mean, I'm a big Packers fan, but I don't care too much about narratives around them. But, man, it just seems like somebody wanted to go on TV, and I'm guilty of this too, and say, man, these Packers, they're fake. Clearly they've beaten up on terrible teams. Just get over it. 2 weeks now reporting the same redigested information. Metcalf or Sanders at the flex? I'll take Metcalf. Traquan Smith, good TD equity. Is he being overlooked? I don't think he's being overlooked at all. Good TD equity, meh. I think that's a little bit. If anything, it means he's not going to score as many TDs. You score 4 TDs in 5 weeks or whatever it is. If anything, now you're due not to. You're due to negatively regress. I think he sees 2 to 3 targets. They don't really use their slot receivers all that much. Will Fuller out? Yep. Yes, he is. DeAndre Carter to get increased reps. Carter will probably split those reps in the slot. From Wisconsin, let's go, Sal. Hey, nice. Stills and Harry or Ward and David Moore? I don't want either of those, Gavin. To be honest with you, I would not roster either of those combinations. If you had to pick one and you're sold on one of them, I'll go Stills and Harry. Go Pack Go. Go Pack Go, my man. If Rodgers hits the mark, Packers are scary. Yeah, I mean, has Rodgers needed to be good? No, they have a defense. Has he been good when he needs to be? Yes. Sal making 6 lineups today. Worth getting to any Hopkins? Yeah, probably. I'm from Wisconsin too. Fly Eagles fly, somebody says. Nice. Traquan, question mark. No interest in Traquan from me. Rodgers looks washed, somebody says. Man, I don't know if you watched the second half of the Lions game, but I think washed would be a very bad word to use. If you want to say Tom Brady looks washed, I would agree with you. Washed from Rodgers, whew. Throws that man was making in the second half of the Lions game, there might not be one quarterback in the league that can make them. Are the Packers a one-and-done team? They probably are, depending on who they get to play. But I think they're better than people actually give them credit for. Sound nice to see you live, brother. Taking Titans money line today. Josh Hill, 2 TDs. Oh, wow. Ward or Goddard? I'll take Goddard. If Ertz plays, Perkins would be sneaky under-owned considering he still got wide receiver snaps. He only got those wide receiver snaps because Wirtz didn't play. Like, he played in the slot because Ertz didn't play. Otherwise, Ertz would have been there. And or Goddard. I also banned him for speaking about A-Rod like that. I don't know who that is. Who was that? No, don't ban him for that. He's allowed to say that. Sal, is it okay to have Singletary, Beasley, and Brown? I think that's a little bit too much. Would you stack Allen, Brown, and Singletary? That's okay. Sal, do you check player props before making your lineups? Yeah, I usually do. Who is your fade at running back? I mean, he's not getting too much ownership, but probably Derrick Henry for me. I'm not getting a lot of Derrick Henry. Stacking 2 tight ends viable on the main slate DK. I think it's viable, but there's not a lot of good ones to choose from. So, like, it's viable more so because of the small slate, but overall, I wouldn't really want to get there. Hi, Sal. First-time viewer. Haven't heard you mention Carlos Hyde. Should I use him? What's going on, Sean? Nice to meet you. In Houston stacks. I wouldn't use Hyde in Houston stacks, no. Can we see the running back page? Yes, you can. I got about 5 more minutes, and then I need to eat breakfast, man. I've been up since like 4:30 and haven't eaten a damn thing today. I need some food. Thanks for everything you do. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. He definitely looked different. Rodgers in the second half of the season? I don't think so. I think he actually looked pretty good. The one game, the first half against the Lions, yeah, he missed like 4 guys. It was terrible. But I will also say to you, when your second best receiving option is Allen Lazard, it's a little bit difficult. Mods doing great work. These dudes are lame. Good work. Yeah, the mods are doing great work. Thank you, Muscles, and thank you, Mike Lowry. Appreciate you guys. What's for breakfast? Oh, I'm going to whip up some... I'm going to split it with normal bacon and turkey bacon. I'm going to whip up 3 eggs on that. I'm going to have an avocado. I'm going to put a little bit feta on the top, some ketchup to dip it in. We're going to be good to go. Some everything but the bagel seasoning from Trader Joe's. Shout out TJ's. Do you like Kute? I would love to like Kute at 3,300. I just think he's going to split his snaps with DeAndre Carter a lot. Sal, where can we find your Patreon so we can show our appreciation? Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Want to show appreciation? I got you. Here's the Patreon. I'm going to drop the Patreon right now if you want to join in. Are Derrick Henry and Thomas both not worth it together? Yeah, I don't think Derrick Henry's worth it in that situation. There's the Patreon if you want to support. You can either sign up, and I got PGA exclusive, NBA, and NFL exclusive content going out every single day over there. A lot more than on YouTube. Watch out for those avocados, somebody said. Yeah, I know. Go Yanks, my man. Is Joshua Perkins a decent play without Ertz? I think he's the best tight end play at that point. What are your thoughts on Hyde? I think he's very meh. I think he sees 16 to 18 touches, a couple of goal line touches, and then it'll depend if he gets in. I wouldn't want a ton of him, but he's cheap. So how much is Derrick Henry exposure are you having today? I have 0% Derrick Henry. Thomas too expensive, or should I spend it? I think he's worth the price. QB page, somebody says. Thank you. Damn. Best DFS show. Thank you. Chris Jones with a $15 super chat. Currently the leader of the day. We had 2 $5, we had a 10, and we had a 15. The leader of the day right now. Thank you, Chris Jones. Appreciate that. Sean Payton to troll DFS world with Josh Hill, right? Be great. Perkins okay for cash? I think so. Ha Sal, not going to live again. Had avocado eye. Thoughts on Sanu's matchup? He'll probably see a lot of. So Sanu will probably see a good amount of Adore Jackson on the outside. I don't think that's good for Sanu. Adore Jackson hasn't been fantastic, but I don't think it's good for Sanu. I had Perkins week 17, 0.9%. Owned Eagles knowledge, baby. Nice. Stack Cousins with Diggs and love your money. Maybe. Most owned stack today. I don't know. I haven't looked at the most owned stacks. If I had to guess based on ownership, maybe the Saints, the most owned combo will probably be Breeze and Thomas. Where are you trying to get leverage for this slate? Probably at wide receiver. I think there's ways to get different. Maybe at tight end. Probably at wide receiver. I'm playing a lot of chalk at running back. A.J. Brown, question mark. I have 0%. I think A.J. Brown has a brutal matchup today, regardless of how the Patriots decide to defend him with a bracket or one-on-one with Gilmore. Ward or Goddard in cash? I would go Goddard. I think Tennessee is a good leverage play. Thoughts? I don't think so. I don't like any of them outside of Jonnu Smith. Sal, thoughts on Wentz? Thanks. I like Wentz today. He doesn't project out as nicely as the other guys, but he's going to throw the ball 40 times. He doesn't have great receivers, but he hasn't needed them as of late. Hey, Sal, good 3K wide receiver in DK. I don't think there's any. If you want to take the chance on DeAndre Carter or Kiki Kute, one of them is probably going to get 5 or 6 targets for Tennessee. David Moore might see around 4 or 5 targets if Jerron Brown is out. So those would be the guys, but nobody's really great. If you had one lineup, what wide receiver would be a must? I'll give the easy cop-out answer, Michael Thomas. Dalvin Cook or Kamara in the flex for a GPP. I'll take Kamara. I like both of them, but Cook 8-point underdog, it's tougher. Taysom Hill, guaranteed at least 1 touchdown tomorrow. Yeah, Showdown Slate monster, right? Jonnu Smith or Kenny Stills? Give me Kenny Stills, more upside. Sal, you okay with Irv Smith and Cash? No, I'm not. I'd rather have Perkins, and then you can just pivot to Irv Smith if we get the news tonight that Ertz is going to play. Sanu or Harry if you had to pick one? Give me Sanu if I had to pick one. Metcalf or Brown? Give me... Yeah, those two are really close for me. Give me Brown, but I like both. Who would you pair with Watson? Stills. Sanders a safer play than Thielen? Yes. Top 3 must plays. Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding with you. Haga Book 17. I don't give out like must plays. I don't think there's any must plays on this slate. Michael Thomas is the closest thing to it. I don't think there's any must plays. NFL, there's rarely must plays. So I don't have any top 3 must plays. I think that's a little bit corny, especially like even on Patreon. I don't say these are my must plays, right? I think it's a little bit corny personally. Somebody says TJ Yeldon at 50%. Yikes, yeah, you got to walk that back. Any information that you're looking at for the Bills, the Texans from Week 17 and using that, throw it all out. They didn't play their starters. TJ Yeldon will be the running back 3 today. Maybe he sees a touch. I don't even think that, though. What game are you having little to no exposure to? I'm having little exposure to no exposure to New England and Tennessee. I like one guy from each team at most. Minnesota and New Orleans, a little exposure to the Minnesota side right now. Is taking both Henry and Thomas a bad play? I would say so, yeah. Anthony with the $5 donation. Thank you, man. He says, thanks for the response. Just became a Patreon this week. Been watching and your content is amazing. Thank you. One stack. I think a one stack of one of the tight ends and Ward is okay. I think just playing one of the tight ends would be enough, though. Thank you for the $5 donation. You guys are so generous today. This is awesome. Thank you so much. Who would you pair with Wentz? A tight end, whichever one starts. If Ertz is out, I would pair Perkins or Goddard. And then you can get to Ward if you want. Sal, tell me I'm crazy for Rex Burkhead. A little bit crazy. Why is Corey Davis so chalky? Because he's 3,800 and people still think he's good. And people want to say that he was good when he had a different quarterback against a different defense last time he played the Patriots. People are crazy. I think Corey Davis' upside today is like 2 catches for 30 yards. I think there's a good chance he gets 0 catches. Would you have at least one guy from each game? Would I? No, I don't think you need to prioritize it like that. Are tightening your core for this slate or spreading it out more? I have a tight core, I would say. Look, I play like 3 to 5 lineups for 3 max and single entry in the mid stakes. Low stakes as well. I max out everything at that point. But I have a tight core because I play little lineups. But it's a 4-game slate. I think there's some clear spots you can avoid, so I would have a smaller lineup. Davis sucks, somebody says. Yeah, I don't think he's fantastic. He doesn't have a rapport with his quarterback. He's going to face either J.C. Jackson, #1 pass rating in the league, or Stephon Gilmore, and I think there's a good chance he faces Gilmore. That would be 0 catches for him. Thoughts on Michelle for the Saturday slate? I think that's okay. Who's your favorite Texan to run back a Bills stack? Probably Kenny Stills. And as an Eagles fan, Sal, Burnett has some serious potential. Deontay Burnett, he had 4 targets last week, 2 catches, 48 yards or something. He ran ahead of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Yeah, Deontay Burnett, he looks interesting. Like for the showdown of 3-game slate. I don't know about the 4-game slate, though. You said you had no exposure to New England and Tennessee? No, I didn't say that. I said I have little exposure. I said I like a couple of guys on each side, like 1 or 2 on each side. James White or Sony Michel? James White for me. Both are in play, though. Saints stack or Seahawks stack? I would prefer the Seahawks stack because it's really hard to get to a Saints stack. They're extremely expensive. Turkey bacon is the best. Yeah, I think both turkey and normal bacon are good. Try and get some of the uncured stuff, right? Not a lot of sugar in that shit. And so I don't have to try and eat candy for breakfast. Man, the people who eat like glazed donuts daily for breakfast, man. Or eat like a muffin and think they're eating healthy because they got like a pistachio muffin. Man, you just ate like the worst dessert you possibly could. You think Wentz balls out? Maybe not balls out, but I think he has a fine game. He's thrown so many times, so it's good for fantasy. How do you feel about starting Corey Davis? I have 0%. I think he is one of the worst options on the slate at his ownership. JJ running behind guys that were on the street 3 weeks ago. Yeah, Arcega-Whiteside, he had a really good preseason game, like a 100-yard game. Been terrible since. Do you not play players against your defense? On a 4-game slate, you can. I think it's fine. Ward or not? I think Ward's okay. Metcalf or Brown? I slightly like Brown. What wide receivers have the highest ceilings for GPPs? Well, the main ones. Michael Thomas, John Brown, Hopkins, Lockett, Diggs. Those guys are the ones with the highest ceilings. I don't even think Brown has a high ceiling today in terms of AJ. I think John Brown does. All right, gang. 5 more minutes. Hit the subscribe button. Be sure to follow me over on Twitter. A couple people follow me now over there. How many Twitter follows do we have? That's a good amount. I'm going to post my Twitter in here. I'm going to self-plug. Is Edelman still banged up? Yes. As of 4 days ago, 2 days ago, they said he's progressing. But as of 4 days ago, there was a quote that said, the pain is worse than you could possibly imagine. So I don't think that's turned around that much in less than a week. Who would you stack with Josh Allen, John Brown, and then Cole Beasley in that order? Is it okay to roster Hyde and Duke Johnson in the same lineup? I will not. Lockett or Metcalf? Give me Metcalf because he's cheaper. Any exposure to Dawson Knox? None for me. Tajay Sharp, ? Tajay Sharp will be the primary guy running out of the slot, probably 20% of the slot routes. It's a nice matchup relative to his other wide receivers on the Titans, but Sharp, I just think he's like 2 or 3 targets at most. Any wide receivers pairings you'd stay away from due to negative correlation? No, all wide receivers are positively correlated with their quarterback. You okay with Kamara and Thomas in cash on this 4-game slate? Yes, I am. Sal, 4K flex for cash. Probably Kenny Stills. But in cash, that's risky. There's really not a lot of 4K options, though. Thomas Kamara stack, that's okay. What do you think about Cook? Jared Cook or Dalvin Cook? I think Dalvin Cook's good. Jared Cook, I won't have any of. Cook and Kamara, good for running backs? Yes, I think so. Drop a like on this video, guys. Yes, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be out in 4 minutes, so get as many questions as you possibly can while you can. Couple people following from the YouTube chat, I imagine. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm excited for this slate, gang. That being said, it's a 4-game slate. I will not have my most exposure down on this slate relative to other slates because it's only 4 games, a lot more variant. I will probably have more exposure down on today's NBA slate than I actually will for this NFL slate. Maybe a couple of thousand on the NBA, maybe around 1,000 on the NFL slate. Right now, I am secured in for like 800 of entries, and I probably will get more. I like looking in the lobby like an hour, 25 minutes before lock and seeing all the new contests that aren't going to fill, all the new single entries and 3 maxes. Are you in the Millie game today? I enter all of my single entry and 3 maxes into the Millie. I have no intentions of trying to win the Millie. I just put those in there because if one of my lineups and my 3 max entries goes off and I win that contest and it's not in the Millie, I would have so much FOMO for the rest of my life. So I think the Millie is a terrible contest. If you're playing 10 lineups in the Millie Maker today, take them all out. Go play some $50 single entries, right? I guess I shouldn't tell you what to do with your money, but you're going to lose that money. Go play a $100 single entry. Play a $300 single entry before putting $300 into the Millie Maker against. There's like a $180 3 max or single entry where there's only like 70 people in it. There's 5K to first. That is much more odds to win money than the Millie Maker, where you have to finish in like the top 10 out of 100,000 people to have any chance of winning money. Naked Tom Brady? No, I don't want him today, no. Does Awesemo have an NFL video today? Yes, I will be on live before lock from Awesemo from 3:30 to 4:30 with Chris Randone, and then they'll be doing a stream before that, I think, with Ben Rasa, Awesemo himself, Alex Baker, and I think Dave Lawfey. I think that's the lineup for today. What's a Millie Maker? It's the contest on DraftKings, Millionaire Maker. White or Burkhead? Give me White. Can't wait to see that random guy in the Millie Maker winning lineup. Yeah, that's why I don't play. That's why I don't try and play these max entries, right? Unless you're playing 150. Either way, it's frustrating. Just play the fields that have 100 people in them, 200 people at most, 300 at most. And like I literally have banked multiple in the last couple of days NBA slates that have 25 to 75 people in them, and I've scored 30 to 40 points less than the winning lineups in the big contests. You just don't have to be perfect. But people are just chasing that 100K to first, and they're never going to get it. Awesemo going to win the Millie. Maybe. There's only been, 30 people ever? $150 3 entry is nice. It's okay. It's still like a 300, 400 person field. I think the $180 single entry that has like 27 people in it, the $333 that has like 27 people in it, that actually has like 10K to first, those are the ones you want to shoot for. They obviously have the pros in them, and it's a lot more money, but your odds of winning are actually higher in those in terms of trying to win first. This guy gives us free info. Leave him a like. Yeah, leave me a like. Hit me with that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. The notification bell helps because when more of you come into this live stream when I go live, when more of you originally open up my email when I go post a video, there'll be a video out in 30 minutes for tomorrow's Sunday slate. You'll get a notification for it, even if you don't want to watch it, even if you just hit the video or you watch it right there. The more people that come in right away, it boosts it up the ranking a little bit more. Williams or Carter for value? Which Williams? Ryan, which Williams are you talking about? I don't know who Williams is. White, Singletary, or Sanders? If you're talking about Duke Williams, Ryan, you should not want to play Duke Williams today. He's not going to step on the football field. 0% snaps, I think. Pat Mayo contest is the best. Yeah. No, Pat's contest is the best. I don't have the link for it, but feel free to post it in here. Pat's contest is awesome. Wentz and Sanders okay? Yes, I think so. Whiteside going to get any targets. He might not even see a snap. He didn't run any routes last week. Damn, the poor guy is hungry, man. Go eat your damn breakfast. Yeah, gang, it's 11:30. Appreciate it. Thank you all so much. Really do appreciate you tuning in. I'll be live on Awesemo from 3:30 to 4:30 today. We'll have a 2-game slate for tomorrow. The breakdown for the Sunday slate is going to be up in 30 minutes. Showdown slate is already out for tonight. Showdown slate for tomorrow will be releasing tonight at 5 p.m. Thank you so much. Best of luck. Everybody have a great day. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram too. Instagram is a low-key spot to follow. Before I go, I'm gonna plug my own Instagram here. So 1 second. Go hit the follow button over on Instagram. We're close to 2,000 followers over there. I'll be giving a giveaway once we hit that. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You all rock. Peace out, gang. Best of luck too. Somebody win the Millie. Even though I don't think you will. Somebody go win it. Your Jordan McRae projections have been on point. My man be dropping 50 burgers. I love the guy. Peace out, gang.